Hello everyone, it's Sheila back with another tutorial. This time I'm doing a 22-inch button-up cardigan in a basket stitch pattern. This is a variation of basket stitch. There's lots of different variations of this stitch, but this is my way of doing it, and I'm going to show you how to do it. You need an even number of stitches so that you have the same stitches at the start. Well, you don't have to have this. I have knit purl at the start and finish, but it doesn't matter whether you start with a knit purl and end with a knit 2, as long as it's just an even number of stitches. And there are 8 rows to the pattern, 4 rows, purl 2, knit 2, purl row, purl stitch, knit stitch. And you do 4 rows, and as you can see on the row down below, the next 4 rows you start with knit and then purl, knit and purl, and I'll show you how to do this. The last 4 rows I did, I started with purl and knit, but I'm going to start with knit this time. So that's knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and that's all I'm going to do across that row. And you can see the knit there, and then the purl stitches over the top of the knit stitches, and the knit stitches over the top of the purl stitches. And that's all this pattern is: knit 2, purl 2, or purl 2, knit 2. And I will knit to the end of this row and meet you after that. And I've knitted across that row, and then I'll be doing another 3 rows, the same as what I've just done. And then on that, the next row, I'll be changing to the stitch that I did below that again. Instead of starting with knit, I'll be starting with purl. And that's all it is: knit 2, purl 2, and it makes a very striking effect on the whatever you're doing. In case anybody wants to know, this is Poundland's Knitting Essentials double knitting yarn. It's a 50-gram ball. It's 100% acrylic. That's all the information it's got really on here. It doesn't tell you the, tells you the oh, it's going blurry showing the shows you the needles, you know, for, but it's a bit hard to see on here. It's really very small, the writing on this ball. But as you can see, it's like a lemon and white mix, and you can see how it comes out like stripes of this lemon, white, like in stripes, and it looks really nice when it's knitting up. And I have 3 balls of this, which I know I can get a 20-inch out of just over 100-gram balls. So I know 150 grams is going to be enough to do a 22. I could possibly have gotten a 24, but I wasn't going to take the chance just in case. And these 3 balls from Poundland were only got 3 balls for £2, so it's quite inexpensive. The wool, and it's quite nice wool actually. So when I've knitted this, it'll be going onto my Etsy shop. But I'll show you the instructions I've got written down so far. Here's a 22-inch, it's button-up or V-neck. It's a button-up I'm doing at the moment, and it's 3.25mm and 4mm needles. And it's the double knitting is 5.5 stitches and 7.5 rows. That equals an inch. And for the back, I've cast on 66 stitches, ribbed 1 by 1 twisted rib for 12 rows on 325mm needles. I changed to 4mm needles and I've knit in basket stitch, which I've written it down, knit 2, purl 2, repeat to end of row, knitting pattern for 4 rows in all. In the next 4 rows, purl 2, knit 2 to end of rows. Repeat these 8 rows until the back measure is 9 inches, and when I get that far I'll be back with the rest of the tutorial. Right, I've knit to 9 inches and now I'm going to cast off 3 stitches at the beginning of the next 2 rows. So I'm just going to cast them off knitways. 1, 2, 3, and we're on the start of a new set of 4 rows. So I'm going to knit over the purl stitches and purl over the knit stitches till I get to the end of the row. And I will meet you at the end of that row. Now I'm going to cast off 3 stitches on the other side of the row. One, 2, 3. The next 2 stitches are purl. Now I'm patterning across the row. And now I will meet you at the end of that row. That's the 3 stitches cast off on each end, and now I'm going to decrease. And as I'm not going to do a flat stitch when I stitch these up, I'm going to be holding 2 pieces together and doing a back stitch like I do on the seams because of the kind of pattern this is. So I'm just going to knit the 2 edge stitches together. They're knit stitches, so I'm knitting knit. So I've got knit. But if you come to decrease on the edge and you have 2 purl stitches, do purl stitches. Just do whatever stitches that you have 2 of. You know, and the stitches will change every 4th row, so and I'll meet you at the end of that row. And I'm now at the decreasing on the end of the row, and I have 2 knit stitches and 1 purl stitch, so I'm going to knit 1 stitch and knit 2 together. And that's how the decreasing will be all the way until you have 22 stitches left on the needle. My phone keeps going blurry. But the instructions are written down here for anybody that wants to write them down. And I've had at the back, where I finished off before, the back measure 9 inches. And I've got Cast off 3 stitches beginning of next 2 rows for armhole. Next and every alternate row, knit 2 stitches together, work to end of row and decrease 2 stitches together. Pattern next row and repeat those 2 rows until 22 stitches remain. Place these stitches on a holder. And I will come back to you when I get to the end of that. So I will hold the pattern there for anyone that wants to write it down or take a screenshot of it. And that's the back knitted up to the neck. And I put 22 stitches on the holder, ready for doing the neck. You can see that's the piece, the size. And the side seam, 9 inches, which was what I was doing. The chest part, 11.5 inches, so it's going to be 23 inches when it's finished. And the full length, 14 inches, the full length. So that's what mine measures. If anybody's following this, that's what they should measure too. So that's a thumbs up for that part of the tutorial, and I'll give you the rest of the tutorial when I get more of it done. So thumbs up and subscribe. Bye for now.